Hello guys, this is Deathdealer and welcome back to yet another episode on the AutoCraft server. Unlike many of our other episodes, this is the season finale. And even though this is the season finale, we still have a lot of work to do before we can call this series finished. In terms of work, I mean this area right here. We're nowhere near finished, so today we need to do a lot of work here. So as you know, this dome needs to be filled in with blocks, and we need to finish the interiors of this thing. And as it stands currently, we still have to build the interiors, up top at least, and we still need to build the dome itself, so that's what we're going to be doing today. So with this wireframe, that layer of the wireframe right there is how high we can theoretically build. So we are basically going to build all the way up until just below that point. And then, yeah, I'd be happy to call this project finished. So what I'm planning is I'd like to have a central room right here, so maybe have a bit of a corridor coming off here, central room, some corridors coming off on either side for some crew quarters, some bunks, that sort of stuff, some elevators up to another level where we'll have a command centre. Sounds good? Yeah, sounds good. Awesome, well with that being said, I think we should get started with this project, so let's turn on hyperspeed build mode and finish the interior of this base. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that little time lapse there. We've just finished those two levels, and it turns out that we just went one block above the wireframe that we laid out. Now, fortunately, I planned ahead for this occurrence, so one block above that isn't actually all that bad, because yeah, there's more of the sphere is actually going to be above this section. I just never built the additional wireframe rings because I knew I wouldn't be going that high, and the space was fairly limited up there. Speaking of limited space, these sections we just built are also limited in space. So this section, which is the highest point, this is going to be the command centre. So this is where all of the important things are going to be going. And then if we take the elevator down, I am yet to put in the water for this thing actually, so let's just pop down here. We have the mess hall, which is going to be in this section, and then these sections at either side of this room are going to be the bunk rooms. So we're going to have a bunch of bunks for the crew. But as it stands currently, there's no furniture in here, so we probably want to get on that right away. Now, fortunately, we've already made some furniture for this base, so what we need to do is we need to head down to one of the labs. So let's just head over there real quick. Okay, so we've arrived at one of the labs. Let's just open one of these doors. And yeah, so we made these basic tables recently, and yeah, they don't really do all that much, they just hold things obviously, so we want to make use of this design again. We'll probably make these a bit bigger, and we might do something different with the ends, but basically we need to make these at least 2 blocks deep so that we can put chairs on either side so that our crew can actually use these tables properly. And the bunk beds, well, we all know what bunk beds look like. We're also going to make use of those tables again for the command center itself, but we'll have to do a few different things with that section. Okay, before we do that, let's quickly put in these elevators so that I can actually travel up and down in this thing, because having to fly all the time is kind of annoying. There's the water, and here is the kelp. We break the kelp, and the elevator is now finished. So I went ahead and put down 2 large tables with a bunch of chairs, and yeah, this should work for us, but this looks kind of boring. We need to spice this thing up a bit. So I went and got some pressure plates, some flower pots. Let's decorate this thing. So what we're going to do is we're just going to place these down. So these are like placemats or something. We need to make sure we don't walk in this, because if we do, these will pop off. So we'll place those like so. We'll do the same on the other side right here. Maybe I should have actually made those chairs alternate, and that might have been cooler. And then what we need to do is we place flower pots there, and that can be like a cup or a glass or something. There we go. Okay, let's go and replicate that on the other side. And there we go. This thing is now furnished. And now we need to make sure this is perfectly lit up, because I don't want to have to deal with mobs spawning and stuff like that. So we're just going to be making use of a mod to do this, and there's no spawning spaces in here, so this is perfect. Awesome. Now the bunk rooms, we're going to do these next, but I need to go and get a bunch of beds. Let me go and get those real quick. And after a small amount of work, the bunk room is complete. Well, this bunk room is. The other one is still empty. So what we came up with was we have a few bunks lining the outside of the room, with a seating area in the middle with a TV right here. You know, this is the modern bunk living experience. We're making good use of the room provided, we've got plenty of walking space, and not only that, we kept everything away from the walls as well, because having things touching the walls is not necessarily a good idea in a room like this. Also, I made sure you can go in between the beds like that as well. Like, we could have fit more beds in here, like if we just placed this like so. We could have had 3 tall bunks, but I really didn't like the idea of that, so that's why we never ended up doing that system. Now all we need to do is do the same thing on the opposite side. So we went ahead and finished the other bunk room down there. This means that this floor is now complete. Now we get the fun job of doing the command centre, which is right above us. So I've done a bit of work, and the command centre is complete. This is fairly basic. We have a big screen and a bunch of tables, so think of the NASA control centre for like Houston and stuff like that. That's the idea I was going with for this build. It's fairly basic. I don't really know what to do with this thing. I need to fix that, and I need to fix that on the other side there as well. There we go. But yeah, that means the interior of this section is now done, so we don't need to worry about that anymore. Next up for this build, we need to focus on the actual dome surface itself. This is because, well yeah, there isn't a surface right now. We need to handle that. Now what I'm planning is I want to have a mix of material, the same as the interior walls in there. I just fell off that. So we're going to go with a mix of polished andesite, some stone bricks, and some stone. We're going to mix in some of this grey concrete, some of the quartz, and the steel lanterns as well to make a highly detailed build. So yeah, with that being said, let's jump into hyperspeed build mode once again, and we will finish the structure of this base. So, after many hours of work, we got this thing finished. This thing looks fantastic. However, it was extremely annoying. Who would have guessed that building a sphere in Minecraft was as infuriating as it is? Spheres are not fun to build. Yet, we managed to do it, and this thing looks great. I wanted to initially have some more detail in it than it currently has, but I tried it and it just didn't work. So let's actually take a look at this thing. So it's just a sphere. We have the cargo bay we built last time, which is right here. So there we go, there's the cargo bay. Now if we jump around this side, we also have the airlock that leads into where the labs are right here. I made sure to tie those into the design because, well yeah, those are kind of important. The dome itself has smaller circles here, which are meant to act as like ports for like super lasers and stuff like that. Obviously we never built any of those because that would have been difficult, to say the least. But I'm quite happy with the results of this thing. One of the favourite things I have about this actually is the way we've managed to follow the curves of the sphere itself. I really like this. Please let me know if you also like this stuff in the comments below. One other thing I'd like to mention as well is connecting it to the bottom was kind of interesting because obviously this is a circular bottom and we need to connect it into a square bottom down here. So we just kind of mirrored the design we did for this section up here and we brought it down to a square situations thing here. Yes, I have a very good way of words. And yeah, there's a bunch of mobs and stuff here, so let's let's just run away. Now, something else seemed to have happened while I was building this. The labs. Something's happened in one of our other laboratories. Now, I believe this is in lab 2, so across from the lab that has all the corruption in it, something else has occurred. So we just pop on around here. Ah, yes. There was a bit of a natural disaster. Oh, not another one. Okay, right, let's just open this up and we'll see how bad this is. Okay, and let's see. Oh, no. It seems that someone was experimenting with trees and bushes and stuff. That's annoying. Come on, Pizza, if you're going to experiment, make sure you do it in a safe and clean environment. You don't let it go all over the place. Okay, right, let's just close it up. That's not how you close it up. Let's just close it up and we'll never talk about this again. And before you ask, yes, the other 2 labs are clear, so we don't need to worry about those. So next up on my to-do list, we need to head over to Splash's ship, because there's one final project we need to do over there. So a while back, Splash asked me if I could put in 2 piston bolts into her hangar bay, which as you can see, she's now finished it. So let's go and take a look at the interior to see where these things are going to go. Okay, so these bridges going overhead, there's going to be a piston bolt going in one direction, and then a piston bolt going in the opposite direction to take the crew back and forth. And if we check this up here, yes, we've got enough space to do this. We will, I thought that was a player down there, we will have to widen some of these doors here, but yeah, this should be a fairly simple enough process. Now, since this is a long form and tedious project, and I don't want to ruin this build by showing a lot of it, what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and build it, and I want you guys to go and watch Splash's video to get the full effect of this thing. So in just a moment, we'll come back, and this thing will be complete. And the final project of the season is complete. So, we went ahead and built the piston bolt going in both directions along this hangar bay, and it does look fantastic. Why don't we give this a little test run? Sort of left some chests at either side with minecarts, so all we need to do is get into the minecart itself, and then activate this system like so. And we're off. This thing is fairly quick. And just for posterity, we'll go back on the opposite side. There we go. And with that, we're now done. We've finished all the projects we wanted to do before the end of the season. This season has been a blast, it really has. We've made 51 episodes, and in that time we've done so much work, so many different projects, and I'm so proud of what we've built here. Not only as like what we've built in terms of like my base and my own projects, but the community we've made as well. So to wrap things up, I thought what we'd do is we'd take a look at this base being worked on from start to finish. So I've made sure to save all of the time-lapse footage we've collected over the course of this season. Well, when I say season, I mean the past 3 or 4 months, because we never really worked for that long in this base. So we're going to put it all together in the form of a mega time-lapse, and, well, yeah, we're going to watch it, and I hope you enjoy. And there we have it. We only spent a few months working on this mega base, but I'm happy to say it's one of the biggest in the server, minus Splashes of course, because well, we can't see it right now because I turned down the render distance, but yeah, it is ginormous. And yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in myself because I don't really have time to enjoy this thing. Obviously, we just finished it, which Yeah, it's the end of the season, which that's kind of my fault as well. But I only started this a few months ago. If I'd started this sooner, maybe, I don't know, a couple months after the server started, I would have had time to enjoy it a lot more, and I probably could have built this even bigger if I so wanted to. And yeah, like, we did actually plan on having so much more stuff here, but we simply ran out of time, which is very unfortunate. But hey, this is a learning experience. It just means for the next season, I can plan to build big yet again, but unlike this time, I will actually dedicate a lot more time in the season to working on our base. Speaking of next season, I once again wanted to remind you of our plans and stuff like that. So, next season, we're going to have a few things different. One being a server website that'll be going live this Wednesday when my first episode of season 2 also goes live. So keep an eye out for that. Also, the download for this world will be hosted on our website, AutoCraftSMP.com. It's not currently available as of this video being released, but it will be available when Season 2 videos go live. So make sure to check that out on Wednesday. And I'll make sure to leave a link to that in the description and in the comments when that website goes live. I've also already taken a liberty of pre-generating our Season 2 world, and I must say, there is quite a lot of interesting things there, and I'm really hoping you guys enjoy what some of us have got planned for this new season. Oh, and as always, applications for Season 2 are still open. We will be closing them partway through the season. We're not going to be keeping them open all the way through the season this time, so if you want to get in on this action, make sure you apply, link in the description. And yeah, I think that's all there is to it for this season, so there's one other thing we need to handle before we can leave. I now bid thee farewell. Computer, open the rift. Bring reactor to 100%, prepare rift sequence.
Reactor engaged. Rift sequence in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rift sequence complete. All systems known.
It's time to go. I'll see you on the far side. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that, why don't you leave a like and subscribe and hit the bell icon. And hey, why don't you check out this video?